Hi there. My name is Dave Zinman. I'm Vice President at Yahoo. And you might ask rightly, who am I and why am I here? To quote a famous phrase. Well, why is Yahoo here? Yahoo is here because we have incredible depth of interaction with users. We interact with 158 million people a month in the United States. That's 80% of the web users in the United States today. We have incredible depth of interaction with those users. So we understand a lot about what users seek in the web, how they search, what they do, what information they're looking for, and what are their needs. And so we're really glad that this forum is happening today, and we're really glad to participate in it because we feel like there's a necessary need for greater clarity around how advertising is treated online, and so we're looking forward to working with you to help create that clarity. So what I thought I'd do today is talk a little bit about web advertising, talk a little bit about examples of how advertising is treated today for pharmaceuticals and some of the emerging and innovative approaches that we have. And one of the themes I'm going to stress is that the internet is a medium is different from traditional advertising media. And so there are some unique characteristics in it. We need to recognize those and address those because users are. And they're doing it today, and so we need to some degree, get ahead of all of the changes that are going on. One important thing, we can't get around, we all know this. Users are going to the internet today to seek advertising information. And they're going there to seek information on pharmaceuticals, and you can see the data here. This is data, I believe, from ComScore they're going to talk about, I think, later today. And it's pretty compelling data that shows that that's where users want to get health information, and they're going to get it online. And so we need to figure out what are the best ways to interact with users to give them information that is going to help them make good, informed decisions. So what I'm going to do is take you through a few examples of the different kinds of advertising that are taking place today and some of the unique characteristics of those. Let me start with one that is probably closest in analog to the traditional advertising media that we run today, which we call display advertising. So that's where there's a graphical ad, and you can see on this example here, it's in the right-hand side of the page. There's an ad there, and that advertisement is meant to catch user attention. It has brand value. Advertisers pay for the placement, so every time that ad is shown, typically advertisers pay us for the impression because there's value in that impression. It's of limited size. But within that size, what we're doing today is we typically run a very strongly noticed link at the bottom there, which you can see, and I'll take you through exactly how that plays out in this example. So here's the first version of the ad. Now the ad animates, and I can't show you the animation on the slide here, but I'll show you some of the screens that you see. So when you first see the ad, if you click on that green bar at the bottom, you're going to get ISI. And you're going to be able to scroll through it and read it and take as much time as you want as a user to interact with it. If you click close on the top right, or if you never click on the green bar to begin with, you'll end up with this static image, which will result, and it will give you the ISI there, as well as an opportunity to click to go to the advertiser's site to learn more. And when you get to that page, you'll get to a page that often looks like this, where there'll be a link right at the top where you can see where you can get more information, safety information, and then typically on the bottom of the page will also be that safety information. And this is the closest analog we have to, I'd say, to some of the broadcast and print advertising that's more traditional. In this case, we'd love to see clarity from the FDA that this is an acceptable form of advertising that addresses the fair balance issues. We believe that the lack of clarity today is creating confusion amongst the advertising community. So it'd be helpful to get clarity here. We think this form of advertising is really successful at fair balance because it gives the user an unlimited amount of time to read as much information as they want in comparison to either TV, where you have a very limited amount of time, or print, where you have a limited amount of space. So we think this is a great example, and we'd just love to see clarity on that. A thumbs up on it. So let me switch gears and give you another example, which is search. So in search, this is a very busy page. This is a typical search results page. In this case, a user searched on the term high cholesterol. And what I highlight here are the actual placements that come from advertisers. Those run at the top of the page and on the right-hand side. And then we also offer at Yahoo, based on our interactions with users, we've learned they like shortcuts to specific information that's relevant, so we highlight those shortcuts here. And then we have the algorithmic results. These are the organic results that come out of our search engines. And what's important to understand about this is that this is very different from the display ad I just showed you, because number one, advertisers don't pay for the impression. This placement here is really, it's hard to think of it as an ad because it's limited to such few characters. So let me just take you through that. It's 145 characters total. There are no graphics in it, so you have a title which is limited to 40 characters, description which is limited to 70, and a URL which is limited to 35. So it's a really tightly defined space. And the idea here is that a user, when they go to this page, they're skimming. They're looking for something that they want to click through and learn about. And all of you, I'm sure, maybe even this morning have done searches, and you've had this experience. You don't absorb this information. What you do is you click through to something that looks relevant, and then you absorb. And so this is an invitation to click on an ad is the way we think about it. And so as a result, obviously you can't have room in this kind of environment for the indications. And what happened, I believe, in April with the FDA letters was we had a big shift, and what has happened as a result is that we continue to see the advertising, but what we've done is we've lost the clarity and the transparency for the users, because what we have now are we have generic ads that don't mention the brand in them. And so the URLs, for example, are masked. So if you look at the top URL there, it's high cholesterol, something, something, but it doesn't say a brand in it. And as a result, users see all these links, and they don't know exactly where they're going until they get there. And so what I think what's happened is because of the lack of clarity and the rules around how to do this kind of advertising, we've resulted in a world where users have less transparency. And so our recommendation is that we address that by recognizing that this is a very, very different form of advertising than has existed before. And the ad and the interaction with the ad happens after somebody clicks, because it's when they click and they get information on the product where they're going to see the brand, the indication, they're going to see the important safety information. It's going to be highlighted with a key link at the top, and it's going to be highlighted with typically with the text, the full text of the important safety information at the bottom of the page. And so, so our contention would be that for the best thing for the consumer experience would be to allow greater clarity and transparency by making that information, making the brand information available through that search placement, so that the user knows where they're going when they get there. We are experimenting with other models. We're trying to figure out are there other ways that we can communicate through search results pages, and so we're testing on a very limited basis the use of what we call rich ads in search, but what it boils down to is a very small iconic placement on the right-hand side of a search result. So as you can see, this one highlighted here for Pfizer, the logo for Pfizer is located there, and this is a custom design. And we're using it in only very limited cases. Unfortunately, we can't use it everywhere. But the links that you see beneath the top link, there are 4 separate links there. You can have a link directly to ISI from that ad, so it can be prominently highlighted there. Right now, it's only used for brand terms, and we're trying to see how we can apply this to other forms of advertising in search, but right now it's limited to brand terms. In this case, also advertisers pay only when there's a click on the ad, just as they do with the traditional search advertising.